Welcome, Wildcats, to another episode of the Weber State Weekly off-season interviews. We're a member of the Big Sky Podcast Network, and I'm your host, Colby Peterson. On today's off-season interview, we are joined by four-year Wildcat. And we're going to talk about your career, Kyndahl, but a rare opportunity for this guy. But Kyndahl Hill joining us on Weber State Weekly to chat a little bit about his time at Weber State, chat a little bit about the pros in Europe, and talk a little bit about what's going on in Ogden this weekend. So Kyndahl Hill, thanks so much for taking some time to chat with us on Weber State Weekly.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to having this conversation. Talk about a lot of great things that happen.
Yeah, man, I'm excited too. We won't do the normal intro where we tell everybody to follow on social media. At this point, you guys know we're on social media. Come talk to us, especially Twitter. Football just dropped this really great Madden competition today on social, so go check that out. That's funny. It's really good. That's a quality piece of content. But we're on social media, so go talk to us. But Kyndahl, let's start out, man. Like I said, you have 4-year Wildcat. Well, really technically 5 because you did have the red shirt year.
Yeah.
But a rare distinction in your career, man, is that you got to play in not one, but 2 NCAA tournaments, which not a lot of Wildcats can say that, man. I mean, that was a really kind of a special thing for you and the squad of guys that, that played in that same window.
Yeah, it was exciting for sure. Like both times.
Yeah. And the first time against Arizona, competitive, right? Like winning as a 16 seed and hey man, we were in that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that was a fun game for sure. Like just being there in that atmosphere and how we were playing as a team and to be that close, it was just a great experience for sure.
So, man, I kind of wanted to talk about, because you did it twice. And so my question was can you tell us about a moment where it kind of sunk in that was bro, the cameras are here. This is it. This is what we play for, and you really kind of felt the moment. Was there a time in either the 14 or the 16 year that you kind of felt that way?
I think for both times, it kind of felt that way once we got there, getting there for the practices and the shoot around, and you see all the media and the people around the whole time. It's a lot of people, a lot of things going on while you're in there shooting around, getting ready for your game the next day. And even the day of, it's crazy, but it's a great experience because you finally you realize in that moment, you're really on one of the biggest stages in college, getting ready to play the NCAA tournament. A lot of people dream of that. And both times it was a great feeling. As soon as you get there, you're oh, I'm here. And it takes a second, but it was just, I kind of felt it as soon as we stepped off the bus, and it was yeah, we're on a big stage and it's let's go out there, have fun.
Did you feel obviously when you went in 14, I think that was your freshman year. And so that was your first year playing and you guys won the conference championship and, went in as a 16 seed. But then, your junior year, you guys won, which was a great game, by the way. I was so pumped to win that game in 16, man, to beat Montana in the finals. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. That game.
Yeah. Great game.
I was down at McCool's right downtown in Ogden, and a bunch of people were down there. We were just going nuts, man.
Oh, I'm sure. It's always a great feeling. Oh, especially against Montana. It's always a great feeling to get that.
Oh, yeah. FTG. So the second time though, man, you're playing against Xavier. Things were a little bit different that time around. Did you feel that it was a little bit different, that, you had some experience from your first time playing as a freshman that kind of prepared you for that second round of the tournament? Or did it kind of help you savor the moment a little bit more? Cause it's I may not get to do this again.
Yeah, no, that for sure. The second time was different than the first. First being a freshman, it's my first time playing, coming off a redshirt year. So I got butterflies and things. I'm kind of nervous and anxious. And then the second time, because I had been there, kind of don't feel that as much. You feel it because it just happens. You're on a big stage and you're you want to do well, but it just kind of felt natural as things start going. You're just playing free and not too tense, not too upbeat, but just playing the game and understanding you got a great opportunity here.
Yeah, and like you said, you're there and you're a little bit more seasoned. You did play a lot of basketball your freshman year, but then you played as a sophomore, then you played as a junior with some really, really talented guys. And so I can imagine that the second time around against Xavier, it was now this is a good group of guys we got here. We're ready to play.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like all of us, because we had a lot of guys from that first year playing in it, that were there playing it in the second year. So it was like we all know the feeling of being here and what it takes to get to be here and play in this moment.
Absolutely. So, man, after the NCAA tournament, which I don't want to talk about 2017 because that was a heartbreaker. You guys played. Like I said, we're not going to talk about it. It freaking sucked.
It did, yeah, for sure.
I think, was that the last year we did Reno as well? I think you guys were the last class to go to Reno after that.
I thought maybe, I'm not sure. I thought it was the next year they played one more year in Reno.
Maybe they did one more. But man, I never went to the Reno tournaments, and I kind of feel bad, but at the same time, I kind of don't because you had so much success there. But also, it's like, man, Reno sucks, bro. That's rough.
No, that 2017 for sure was a heartbreaker, but
you're right there, man, right there.
Oh yeah.
But like I said, I told you we weren't going to talk about it, so we're going to move on, man. So
sounds good.
My next question, man, like I said, you were part of some legendary Wildcat teams, the rare distinction of having 2 rings. I mean, there are only a few classes in Weber State history that won the conference tournament twice in their time. Yeah. And so, but a lot of times guys or the fans don't really get to kind of see you guys interact. I mean, obviously this was a team that was well-oiled. You guys won at some of the highest levels, but social media was not where it was back then. And so they didn't really get to see kind of your interaction. So I kind of want to ask last question about your Wildcat career. Is there kind of like a funny moment in that time at Weber State where it was like, bro, this one time this happened and it was legit hilarious?
So like one of the funniest moments is actually from my redshirt year. It's kind of crazy. We did like a Harlem Shake video as a team. Okay. And like, cause it was a trend back in that time. So like we did that. That was probably one of the funniest moments, just watching that video, setting up for that video, kind of things we were doing. Like that was one of the funniest moments. All the other stuff, like we just had some great times as teammates, like off the court, even like with the coaches, like we would do like a little paintball game together. And like, those were fun moments, like just teaming up and having a good time, talking trash, like who's going to win this time? Like it was just, those were just like fun moments that people didn't really get to see.
Yeah, it's true. And those moments, like I said earlier, today football put out their video with the guys playing in their Madden tournament, and even Coach Dale got in on it. And I was like, oh man, like this is for real. But that trash talk, like, oh man, chef's kiss.
That always, yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of fun for sure.
So man, now you're a seasoned veteran. You played 6 seasons now in Europe. So you've done it, man. You're as seasoned as a lot of folks come. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about that. Your very first season, you went and played in Denmark. I wanted to ask you, making the jump from D1 to the pros in Europe, talk to us about how that went. Did you feel like it was smooth? Was it tough? Did you have to change the way you did stuff because you had to adapt to the European game? Like, talk to us a little bit about that first season in Denmark.
Yeah. So I had to change a couple of things, like European basketball is different. Yeah. A lot of different rules and just how they do things. So I got the chance to have like a great veteran on my team that year in Denmark, who I still talk to occasionally. Like now, that kind of helped me with that transition, like giving me some pointers, just telling me, like it's basketball, just play free, be yourself. Like the game comes, it takes a minute. Like my first game out there, I was kind of rushed, trying to get acclimated to the game. Like, bad things happen, good things happen, but like it took a little while, not too long, but I got adjusted to the game really pretty quickly. And it felt a little smooth, but like I said, you just got to adjust to their rules and how they play and physicality. It's just not that much different from D1 basketball, but it's still different.
And you said that you kind of had a mentor there, kind of helped you along. And so now you're an experienced guy of 6 years playing in 4 different countries. Have you kind of taken on that role for some of the guys that come in now? Is that something like a role that you've filled, or is that something that guys usually do when they're getting towards, maybe the end of their career?
No, I kind of try and do that because, like sometimes you get those younger guys on your team as well. And, I've been there 6 years, so like I kind of know a little bit. And so I try and help guys who are just coming over to like understand like this is different. You're in a different country, different culture. Like a lot of guys just want to get over there and, you know, sit in the house. Like we have so much downtime outside of practice and game. Like the best way to get acclimated to being over there is getting out and exploring and like figuring out, like seeing what their culture has to offer. And so I try and help guys and talk to them about that and do that myself and get out and like explore. So that helped get acclimated while I was over there.
Yeah, I guess it's not something that I ever have. We've talked to quite a few of you guys now that have played in Europe, and it's, I guess, not a question that I've asked ever before. We always talk about the game on the court, but we've never really talked about acclimating to the culture of being in a new country, because it can be hard, right? Like you just said, you just kind of want to sit. You don't want to go out. It's called culture shock, right? Where you're far from home. Sometimes you don't speak the language at all, or you don't speak it well, and you just kind of get down. And so kind of help guys through that. That's kind of the role that you've played.
Yeah, I kind of like get with teammates, like, let's just go walk around or something. Let's get out of the house, you know, see what they have to offer. Because not for sure, there's countries like not every place speaks English. It's not like
right.
And so like you have to try and figure out things in their language, but then also just understand their culture, see where they're coming from, see what they have to offer, because like you're there for 9 to 10 months. Like you can't just go on about it like you're back home, because it's not going to go well. You're not always going to feel like, I don't even know, I can't think of the word to say, but like it takes time. Like you just sitting in the house and not like getting out and seeing anything, or like embracing the culture. Like it takes a toll. It makes you homesick, makes you want to go. And like 9-10 months, it's not that easy.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the season is long in Europe. It's just as long as the NBA season. You know, you guys start probably with camp in August, September, start playing games in October. That season will go all the way up until April, May. I mean, you just got back, and you guys had a playoff run to go with that. And so it is a long time. And so you get just kind of the summer to be home. And do you feel like you sort of savor that time back home when you get here, because you've been away for so long?
Yeah, for sure. Because you're really not home that long. It seems like it goes by quick. It's only like 3 months, or maybe sometimes shorter, depending on when you get back. But like you for sure have to savor it, because it's like you back at it again for another 9 months. You're not home, and once you get back, you just want to relax, like enjoy everything while you're home, enjoy your family, like just embrace the moment of being home, coming off a long season.
So, man, I wanted to ask you, what's the first thing that you get when you get off the plane? You're home, you're back in the US. First thing you're going to eat, man, what is it?
Man, I feel like it changes every time.
Okay. What was it this time?
I feel like so this time I got some Mexican food. I'm a big Mexican food type guy. So like that's been like a thing that I do. Actually, the last 2 years, that's probably the first thing I get. But usually like it depends on what I'm feeling when I get back, and also what time I get back. Sometimes I get back in the morning, sometimes I get back at night. So it just kind of depends. But, you know, you miss in different countries, you miss those sort of things. You can't always get it.
Yeah. I mean, you're 100% right that there are certain things that you miss abroad. And even if they have it in that country, it's not always the same. No, there can be a guy. Yeah, there could be a guy's like, oh, no, we met this guy once. He insisted that he got all of his ingredients from San Francisco. He had it shipped in from California. He made burritos. Folks, it wasn't as good. It just wasn't, man.
Yeah, it's for sure different. They have their own little twist to it. But, you know, just even being over there, though, like embracing the culture and eating the different foods that they have to offer. They have good stuff too, but it's nothing like being home. Sometimes you just miss certain things when you get back.
You want to eat a real pizza. Well, you're in Italy, so you are eating real pizza.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it, man, because you have played now in 4 countries, like I said. You've played in Denmark, you've played in Ukraine, you've played a season in Germany, and now you've played 2 seasons in Italy. That's a lot. Plus, that's not counting all of the places that you have, those are all home spots for you. I'm sure you've played in other countries besides that, going to compete against other clubs.
Yeah.
So a day as a pro seems like it can be, the days that you play can be kind of busy, or maybe like you said, there are days that are not as busy. So I kind of wanted to get the feel, like, what's your favorite day as a pro in your 6-year career so far, where it was like, that was the best day, man? Like talk to us a little bit about that day and kind of like what went down, like why you feel like it was the best.
I had a lot of good days. I can't just pick one. It's kind of hard because, you get some of those off days are like fun. You go hang out with your teammates and go walk around, or even I would say actually this year, I had family come out and visit me in Italy. My parents and my aunts came and visited me in Milan, and we had a day of it, walking around, going out to eat. Just like, that was probably one of the funnest days I had, because being able to have them over there and like experience what I experienced, it was like one of my favorite days.
That makes a ton of sense, because you're so far away from them for 9-10 months, and then they're in your environment, and it's like, man, all right, let's go. Let me show you all the stuff.
So that's one of my favorite days. But when it comes to like basketball wise, I feel like I've had some great days getting ready for game days. Like the fans embrace you and all those countries. So like just being able to interact with them even before or after the game, like it's fun. Like it's what you want. Like it makes you feel good, feel like they accept you, like on the team and like things like that. So I've had some great fans in all of the countries that I feel like that I've been in. So
that's a great question, because we've never really asked about the fan bases, right? Yeah. We're always talking about the game, this is how you play it. But I think actually Jeremy Senglin told us a little bit about a crazy fan base that he saw one time in like Greece or something like that. But for the most part, the people really love basketball in Europe. And so they're showing up, they're loud. It's a good time.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like Ukrainian fans were amazing. Italian fans were amazing. Germany was kind of hard because it was kind of during COVID, so we weren't allowed to have fans in the gym. Yeah. Denmark, we have some good fans, but I think Ukraine and Italy probably my top 2 places when it comes to fan base, because they just like embrace the game. They love it, and it was fun.
And plus, you've had the chance to play a couple of seasons in each, so got to marinate in it a little bit more, than just one season.
Yeah.
So I got a couple more questions for you, man, before we wrap up. There are also other Wildcats that are playing in Europe. We talked about Jeremy Senglin. We interviewed him. Was it last summer? We talked to Jeremy. Jarek Harding's playing over there now. Brakat Chapman is playing. Rashad Gittins is playing. You're playing. A lot of guys are playing. And so I wondered, well, now, guys that you wouldn't know, but Isaiah Brown, JJ Overton's playing. I wondered if you have ever had the chance to meet up with some fellow Wildcats, when you're out on the beat, on the road, maybe they're coming to see you. Has that ever happened? Or even if, maybe you played against their clubs, is that something that's ever happened to you while you've been playing in Europe?
So actually, this was the first year it's actually happened. Me and Jeremy Senglin met up in Italy this year and hung out and like got food and just hung out in Italy. It was a good time, just like catching up. Yeah, like we stay in touch, not as much as we would like sometimes, but like we still stay in touch. And then being able to see one another overseas is like a great feeling, because it's like somebody you played 4 years with. It's like, man, breath of fresh air sometimes, seeing those people succeed and do the things that they do, and like just meeting up in different places is great. I also met up with Joel Ballenboy this year as well.
Yeah, I forgot Joel. Joel's playing as well.
Yeah,
playing in Greece this year.
Yeah, me and my wife went and visited his family out in Greece for a couple of days. So I met up with 2, but it was all this year, and it was great. So like just being able to catch up and talk about how our careers have been going, it's been a great thing.
Meeting up with Jeremy's got to be especially special for you, man. Because like you said, played 4 years with Jeremy. You guys had a lot of success together, both from Texas. So there's a lot going on there where it's like, no, we're super close. So that's awesome. You guys got to hang.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was great to hang out with him.
Yeah. Last question, man, before we wrap this one up. The alumni game, it's coming up on June 17th, and it's going to look a little bit different this year. They've invited guys like you who are still in their playing careers to come play the alumni game this year. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Guys who are still kind of in their prime, in their pro career, coming to play in the D, which is absolutely awesome. I think it's a great shift in the game. I think it's going to be fun. I wish they would broadcast it so guys like me in Nashville get a chance to watch it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that would be cool for sure.
It would be cool. But I want to talk a little bit about how this came to be. How did they reach out to you, and how did they kind of sell you on, hey, listen, we're going to get younger guys to come play this time. What do you say? Come back to Ogden for this one. How did that go for you?
They just kind of reached out and asked when I would be back, because usually in the past, the alumni game is kind of in August.
Yeah.
And every time it comes around, I'm getting ready to head out for the season. So like, this is the first year where it's in June and it's kind of earlier. So like, I have the time and I'm in town and not getting ready to leave to be here and play. So they just reached out and asked if I would be back in time to play. And I said, yeah, like I would love to. Like being a part of the alumni game would be great. Like I've missed out on them. Like I'll leave either the day before or the day of in the past of the alumni game. So Paul Grew reached out and asked some of the old guys. Pat, he reached out and asked me as well, like, would I be back? I said, yeah, sure. I'd like to come and play in the alumni game this year. So that's how they kind of reached out to me about it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, man, that's great. And like you said, the time did change. So this year it's going to be in June. So it gives you guys who play professionally in Europe the chance to participate, because having it in August is tough.
Yeah, a lot of us are either gone or getting ready to leave, usually when it came around. So like this year, it's kind of great that it's in June, because, you know, like a lot of these guys, we're back and we're able to jump in and be like, yeah, we want to play for sure. You know, get a chance to get back.
Have you been back to Ogden since you graduated, man?
I actually still live in Ogden right now.
Oh, you live in Ogden, so he's back in Ogden right now, folks. So if you're hanging out downtown 25th Street, you might see Kyndahl. Tell him what's up. Get his autograph.
So, no, I didn't leave. Me and my wife live out here right now.
That's great, man. Absolutely great. Well, Kyndahl Hill, man, I want to thank you so much for taking a little bit of time to chat with us here on Weber State. We could talk about your career in Europe, talk a little bit about your time at Weber State, and of course, talk a little bit about the alumni game, man. So thanks again, and we'll wrap it up like we usually do. Weber State. Great.
Hey,
go Wildcats.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.